What is up, guys? I first off have to apologize for using this laptop camera because there is a small background noise, but I could not wait. My better quality camera isn't all that better anyways, so let's just get started. First off, I could not wait. I read this and I could not wait to do a review on this. That is why my other camera is still charging, and I decided to just hop in on this. Let's just get started. First and foremost, we'll be talking about Bleach, the latest chapter that was just released, and it was quite the spectacle. The beginning is akin to Toriko. I'm not gonna lie. Spoiler alert for Toriko, but it is somewhat like certain scenes in Toriko where they sort of establish this premise for this guy, and then you don't know who this person is, and you know from like birth that this person was amazing, and then slowly you figure out who this guy was. And this has been done in Bleach too as well, and probably other manga and maybe other movies as well, but most prominently I think actually I've seen this done in Bleach already. So I really like this sort of premise. It's so unique. It's like it's this whole enigma of this baby who was just born into this world, and you don't know who or what it is, but it's very special. Almost like it's that telling of a prodigy being born and how the prodigy lived in the world and surpassed the average person in so many ways, and then later on, like, you find out who this person is and you're like, wow. And the way it was just set up was beautiful. I feel like it's been done in Bleach before. If not, it seems very familiar. It was done in Toriko, but it may have been done earlier in something else. And the best part was how it was revealed who this guy was. Like, the whole thing, the narrator never said in the caption, this guy was Yuha Bak. The story explained it itself, and the implications explained itself. So just by that statement where in the middle it says the baby or the child noticed that they were calling him Yuha Bak, which was the name of the gods or whatever. And then you see a face of the older Yuha Bak, and it's like, wow, this was the guy. Quite honestly, when I first started reading this, I thought this was the Spirit King. It seemed like the Spirit King. It looked like the Spirit King. Because, I mean, it makes sense. Like, he's giving away parts of his soul, his spirit. He was this abnormal prodigy that was just helping the world out, healing everyone, and then it started going wrong, and it was like this guy wanted to be called a god, and he took that in as his name. It's like, would the Spirit King really do that? And so forth until this guy came about. And I don't want to get too philosophical here, but like, that begs the question, why were these people made if they were meant to do horrible things, or like their whole existence depends on destruction to survive? It's like, why would they do such a thing? And there's still a lot of enigma behind the Spirit King. Maybe he's even more outrageous than Yuha Bak. Maybe he has like a similar ability, but it doesn't depend on destruction and death for him to survive. Or maybe he connects it all together. Or maybe he's just some old guy who really is just hung up by the system as much as the system is dependent on him, and he's just like sitting in this some chamber up in the sky, like trying to control everything so the soul society won't crash with the real world, and he's just some old guy who's powerless. Who knows? But yes, I was astounded that it was Yuha Bak. More so, I realized no matter how awesome this guy is, like, it kind of doesn't make sense at the fact that he still ages. Like, he was born, he became a teenager, and now he's an older man. one could reason that he is in stasis, so he won't age as long as he keeps killing people that he's lent his soul to. But I hope you guys all understand the premise. If not, I'm going to explain it again because it's so important. Otherwise, read it again. But from my understanding, and I may be slightly wrong, but more so right, what happens here is that Yuhabak, he was born, and through physical contact, he would heal or like cure anyone, and he would do so by lending his soul to that person. That person probably didn't know that was what was going on, but he lent his soul to these people, and basically, I guess these people are like the lame and inferior and injured are typically older people, so they'll be cured of their ailments, but they'll eventually die of old age. And then when they die of old age, which is usually in a couple years because they're old, then that soul returns to Yuhabak, who recovers what he lost when he lent out the soul, and on top of that, he takes in all the knowledge, experience, and talents that they've gained in that time when they were borrowing the soul. So it's like a trade-off, and all of it's happening without them realizing it. Well, Yuhabak knows it, but not everyone else. And then there's that thing. According to what it was said, it seems to be that Yuhabak, at the moment of touching that person, absorbs, well, not absorbs, but copies and takes in all their experiences and talents and skills garnered up until that point. But then once they borrow that soul, that soul is lent, and then when it's returned after they die, all the experience up until the point they made physical contact and when they died, that knowledge is also returned or copied or sent back or forwarded back to Yuhabak. So technically, he, in theory, he would have like the intellect of 10,000, 100,000 years, if not more, assuming like these people in Soul Society or whatever, they live 1,000, 5,000 years. He could have 1,000,000 years of knowledge by the time he's like 2 months old, because of all the freaking greedy people who touch him. I mean, I know that in our world, if that were to happen, he would probably have like 1,000,000 hands on him before the government seized him in the first year of his life, which would equate to like 100 million years of life experience, and then he'd be experimented on. And then there's that enigma where it was stated something like, at the moment he left the mortal realm, he began this thing of being able to absorb their life experience. So that would assume that maybe he was born in the human world, and then because of his skill, he was taken to Soul Society when he was still a baby. And once he entered Soul Society, that is when he started absorbing the people, the knowledge that he had prior made physical contact with. But I'm getting too much into this. It's ridiculous stuff. I was very surprised it was Yuhabak. It's good to see, because if it was a Spirit King, it'd be like, uh-oh, Yuhabak has, I mean, his chances have lowered. I thought, upon reading the first page, I thought it was either Spirit King or Zaraki Kenpachi. You guys all know I'm rooting for Kenpachi, but it wasn't. So that's pretty much the gist of what I want to say. I like this chapter. It was solid. There wasn't too much useless dialogue like in the last two chapters, or stupid fighting. This chapter was solid. Compared to the last few chapters, this one was at least 2 ratings above the others from a 1 to 10 scale. And then there's that whole showdown between the two of them. I forgot their names. the guy with the glasses and then the blonde haired guy afterwards. And it was pretty much revealed from that this guy, like, not just this guy, but everyone, including Yuhabak and all the Quincy, or at least most of the Quincy, know what's going down. They don't trust this guy. They never really wanted him to be the successor of Yuhabak, and the appointment of him as successor is just a sham. Because it was pretty much revealed to him that, yeah, we knew you only came in here to avenge your mother. And we all knew that you were trying to come in here as the double agent so that you can join our organization as the Quincy successor, and then at the last moment backstab Yuhabak. But it was all revealed, like, that the Quincy know this, or at least the upper echelons of the Quincy know this, and they're like, that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is we've already sort of imprinted you with Yuhabak's letter, so you have a portion of his soul, somewhat like Voldemort and the Horcruxes, inside you. So once you die, all your powers and skills will be returned. And as to why they value him so much, that is an enigma. Because, like, he was I think he was just a Quincy descendant from another lineage. And I think that's, in theory, the only value we can ascribe to him as of right now. Because he was in this other lineage that survived, Yuhabak wants all that experience and knowledge and skill of a lineage that branched out thousands of years ago. And then there's a question of this guy's dad, who's also a Quincy, who is still in the human world. Like, what will he do? Will he do anything? He seems pretty strong too. Like, he seems really, really strong, but we don't know yet. And that's pretty much everything. I want to see what Kenpachi does. Zaraki Kenpachi. I really want to see how he has progressed in the last 50 chapters of Absence. I really want him to be just as strong, if not stronger than Ichigo, but deep down I feel it's not going to happen because everyone wants Ichigo to win. No one cares about anyone else. Kenpachi has always been short-sighted. Ever since, like, his first fight, like, he's always been, you know, depicted as lower in level than Ichigo, even though in theory, according to what has been stated, he now has the potential to be stronger than Ichigo. So I really want to see, like, his power level is really limitless. And I've said it multiple times, I'm going to say it again. Zaraki Kenpachi has had the same power level since he was a little toddler because he could not find anyone stronger than him. So he unconsciously suppressed his power level since then. It's crazy. So that's pretty much all I want to say. I know there's something else. Oh yes, that whole ordeal with the fact that it was revealed that Yuhabak is evil because he requires constant wars to sort of keep him alive in a way. And the fact that he's imprinted Shinigami, I mean, that means no matter, I don't know how he got Shinigami imprinted with parts of his soul, but it's like, that is insane. It's insanity, because if a Shinigami were to die, especially at captain level, all that power goes straight to him. So he would, in effect, be the Quincy Shinigami hybrid, whereas Aizen was the Hollow Shinigami hybrid. And it's all this whole battle of who's the best. And then we got Ichigo, who is the trifecta of perfection, as the manga constantly preaches. Shinigami, Hollow, and Quincy, now revealed to be the perfect hybrid. Like, obviously he's going to be the hero who's attained the best level. Who knows what's going to happen after, like, at the end of Bleach. Maybe all three of them will, like, probably the Quincy and the Shinigami might come together and mate, and then everyone will start breeding into these perfect hybrids, and then they'll inject them with a little bit of hollow. Who knows? I am very curious what to see what happens now. So far, no Shinigami have died, but if they do, that could cause precarious problems. The fact that Yuhabak has awakened once again and said thank you for your deaths, it has kept me alive, that could imply that Shinigami or Quincy that we have yet to hear about have in effect died. Well, we know one has, but that was the one Quincy. And that begs the question, does he require one death per day to survive? It's all quite a question, and it's very interesting. And I think this was a good move and good chapter by the author, because I had complained in the last video on Bleach on the fact that the whole purpose of the Quincy fighting was stupid in a way. And if you want my reasoning, watch that video. But now we've added another factor that sort of pushes this into a more logical sense. These guys are evil because their leader feeds on death and pain from others in order to stay alive, so wars will constantly come about. It makes sense. So as always, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe for more, and leave your comment for your thoughts and opinions.